Welcome back to Not Ashamed. I'm your host, Ashley Nordman, and let's dive back into all things friendships. I want to talk about some of the biggest burns that I've had with my friends. Well, ex-friends now. And unfortunately, I have a lot of them. So it took me a while to decide which ones were worth discussing today and which ones weren't. And I also have to change a few things on some of these because I have been in literal lawsuits over this, which is like disgusting to even think that I've been in lawsuits with ex-friends. Like I didn't even know that could happen, but it's happened. So these are things I've never discussed before, and it kind of makes me nervous. Like I hate talking about this kind of stuff. I don't know. I just don't like talking about like drama usually, but I feel like these are things that like you are going to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, she has gone through that. Like hopefully it will resonate with you because I sometimes make it look like I am like invincible and like people don't hurt me, and people hurt me every day. Like I'm a human. I cry. I have people that have treated me really shitty and really bad. And unfortunately, like some of the things that have happened to me are actually like mind-boggling because I just didn't know people were even capable of doing this kind of stuff. So let's just dive in, I guess. I've had some psycho ex-friends, like literally psycho friends that my family and people that have like seen this stuff go on have been like, I'm pretty sure they would like skin you and eat you. Like these people are obsessed with you. It's like very weird. And I don't know how I've always ended up getting in these like crazy situations because like I said, I've done a lot of therapy and I've been like working on like cutting people off. But like, I'm sure some of you have had like crazy friendships before where you're like, yes, I have actually dealt with that. I've had some crazy stories to share. So if you have any, I want to hear them from you. Like please reach out to me and share these stories with your crazy ex-friends, because when you hear mine, I would just love to know if you've been through anything similar, because it's like kind of wild. All right, the first situation was literally like the most massive betrayal you could ever get. Literally, this was someone who was like a sister to me. She acted like my complete best friend, and then it was like getting the biggest slap in the face you've ever gotten in your whole life. This girl, talk about coming in hot, love bombing. She like dove in like Miley Cyrus on a wrecking ball. She literally like out of left field came and saw me when I was in school to be an esthetician, came and got a peel or something, and just instantly wanted to be BFFs. Like gave me her cell phone number, was like coming in all the time, trying to hang out with me, doing dinners. We were going to concerts. I mean, like out of nowhere, just like wanted to be my best friend. Well, I learned really quickly, like she was very weird about like money and stuff. Like she never wanted to pay a lot for treatments. She always wanted like freebies and stuff. And I'm very giving. So I'd always be like giving her stuff or like giving her discounts. And then in school, like our treatments were so cheap because we were students. Her and I were, you know, fine, or so I thought. And I did a treatment on her. And I remember, you know, going to a concert with her like a month later and her skin was fine. Maybe it was like a couple weeks later, not even a month. And her skin looked great. And I was like, cool, this is great. Literally 3 years later, when she saw that I had a successful business, swoops in and decides that she's going to sue me for a treatment that I gave her 3 years prior, which you can't even sue me because I was a student at a school. So you have to sue the school, not me, but she tried to sue me and say that I messed her face up and that I like caused her like lifelong trauma because of her face being messed up somehow. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I did the treatment. I gave you the post-procedure plan. I followed up with you. I gave you all the right products. I literally gave you a written piece of paper on how to follow everything, you know, properly. And I will say, she did tell me she didn't follow things properly. So if something went wrong, that was on her. But I mean, I literally saw her weeks later and her skin was fine. And then all of a sudden she comes back later and decides to like sue me. Then she was like running her mouth about me on the internet and like telling all these lies about me, saying how horrible of a person I was. And I'm like, what is going on? So that was the first time that I really realized like people can have ulterior motives to everything. I truly think she like legitimately just wants money out of me for some reason. I don't understand like why people think that way. Like they just think they can like sue somebody just because they want what you have. I don't know. It was just very strange. And it was honestly like the first time that I ever felt like someone really just disappointed me. You know, like this was someone that I thought was going to be my friend, and it was just very out of left field. And like when she went and like filed this lawsuit, I was like, why didn't you come to me? Like, why didn't you talk to me about this? And instead you go and like try to sue me and like ruin me when I didn't do anything wrong. So it was very strange situation. Like, it almost doesn't even feel real sometimes because I don't understand why people like go to that extent and to lie just to try to like make someone look bad or to make them fail. Like, it truly felt like she was just trying to like destroy my name and like ruin me. And for me, like, I take so much pride in who I am and like my reputation. So I was so upset when I found out about this because I'm like, why would someone try to ruin my reputation? Like, I'm a good person. I follow everything to a T when I do treatments. I take extra care of my people. And for you to like go and accuse me of doing something like that and like ruining your face and like doing a treatment poorly or whatever it is you're trying to tell me I'm doing, like, it just hurt. You know, this is something I'm so passionate about. This is literally what I love doing. So imagine if you're a hairstylist and someone comes into your hair salon and tells you that you're the most horrible person ever. You ruin their life, you ruin their hair, and they're trying to sue you and like stop your business. You would be absolutely so offended. Like, this is what feeds my family, you know? So it was just very wild to me and something that like I'll never really fully understand. This second situation, this girl was my best friend, literally connected at the hip pretty much. I mean, I took her in, helped her completely change her life. I helped her with nutrition. I was taking her to the gym. I was training her for free. I literally was like, you can come live here with me. Like, I wanted to help this girl so bad because she was really struggling and wasn't the healthiest, and I wanted to get her to a healthier, better place. I quite literally like took her under my wing. I gave her a job. I was paying her super well, gave her flexibility, and pretty much just like spoon fed her everything she ever could have ever asked for. Like, quite honestly, we got to this place, which again, this is why you can't do friendship and business, because we got to this place where it started getting weird. Like, I noticed she wasn't like keeping up with her work and she wasn't doing the greatest. And I would try to like check in and put on that business hat and be like, hey, like, we gotta, you know, work on these things. And she just never really took feedback well. And I think it's because she really struggled with like believing in herself. So whenever I would like nicely address things, like, it would trigger her. So I would always kind of tiptoe around it. Again, that's my fault. I needed to be more direct. I wasn't that good at it. One day, I flat out found out she was lying about her hours and how much she was working. She's basically stealing from me. Like, I'm paying you money to be working and you're not working. So I very, very, very nicely addressed it. I was like, I love you as a friend. Like, I don't want this to interfere with our friendship at all. But unfortunately, like, we're going to have to stop working together. And I want to stay best friends. I want to, you know, keep you in my life. But we're just going to have to like figure something else out in terms of this business stuff because it's not working out. She literally went AWOL. I mean, wouldn't talk to me, cut me off, left all my shit that she had of mine on my front porch. Every time I asked her nicely to come over and sit down and talk with me and have a conversation, she avoided it. She immediately started running her mouth on the internet and then left me and started working for a competitor and then went and took people that worked for my business with her to go work with her to like one up me as like a big fuck you. And I mean, it was like the most mortifying thing. Like, I was literally so hurt. Like, I couldn't believe this person that I had spent almost 5 years diving myself into, like pouring my heart and soul into, trying to help her like get better, get healthy, giving her a job when she had no job, like giving her a life, like taking her on trips, like everything you could imagine that you would do for somebody, and her just taking advantage of me, and then me nicely finally like setting a boundary and like calling her out on it and saying, hey, like, we're gonna have to like do something different here. And then for her to just go and like try to cover it up by making me look awful, like, it just hurt beyond words. Like, I can't even imagine like doing that to someone. Like, a mature person would own up to it and like stay friends with you, you know, but she just couldn't handle it. And so she really, really burned me. I mean, that freaking hurt so bad. She literally created like a whole hate group about me. There's literally like a whole flippin' hate group now that she runs. And I'm just like, fine, have fun. You're miserable. Like, it's an example of you, not something that, you know, I have done, but it still hurts, especially when you feel like you give your all to somebody and then they just like shit on you. And so to this day, like, I know she feels guilty. She's apologized to me multiple times and I won't let her back in my life. I've accepted her apology because I have chose to forgive her. I forgave her years ago because I knew that she was hurting and that this was her way of trying to make herself feel better about herself. So to me, like, I always know when people do this kind of thing, it's a reflection of them, not me, but it still hurts. Like, I'm still human and I loved this person. Like, I wanted her to be in my life forever. Like, I thought she was my best friend. So to have been like betrayed like that, and then for her to go like literally work for a competitor and like steal people from my business and hurt my business, like, that was probably the lowest thing someone has ever done to me. And it took a very long time for me to get over it. But once I did and I forgave her and I moved on, like, I haven't even thought twice about it since. But it's just funny to me that like the people that do this kind of stuff always come back around. You know what I mean? Like she literally came back around and apologized and like owned it and like wanted to be friends again. And I'm like, there is no coming back from that. Like when you go to that extreme place and like hurt me that bad, like there is physically no way I can allow you back in. Like I'm a pretty decisive person, so once you're out, like you're out. She can deal with the fact that like that's the choice she made and this is the consequence that you get for that. You choose to treat me shitty, you're out of my life. I have another friend that this story resulted in a restraining order, but I think I'm just going to save this one for another day because that's a whole nother story I could talk about. It's actually crazy, and I did not even ever think I'd be walking around with a restraining order on somebody. But, you know, people can be crazy, like I said. And I think, like, when you work hard and you have a business and you have, you know, a lot of motivation, like I do, unfortunately, it just comes with a lot of baggage and people that try to like drag you down. And this has just happened to me over and over again. I know I've only shared a couple of stories of things that have happened to me, but I have plenty more. I mean, oh my gosh, I'm getting like flashbacks now of things that I could just talk all day about because it's kind of insane, but it just comes with the territory. When you're someone who uses your 24 hours better than someone else does, you are potentially a threat to them. And I've just learned the hard way that like the things that I do in my life can sometimes trigger people, and then the people that you think are your friends might actually not be, because when you're doing great things for yourself, it makes them look inward and not feel great about themselves at times. And it's not an intentional thing, it's just something on them, and then they can lash out and literally be crazy. So I personally think my 30s are going to be my best years because I have finally set boundaries. I have finally done the inner work on myself. I am not perfect. I'm working every day to be better as a friend and as a person, but I've attracted some really great, solid people into my life. And I've definitely learned over the years that it's a quality over quantity kind of thing. So I just have a couple of very close friends now, and I'm happy. I'm feeling great. I feel good with my small, close-knit circle. They're my ride or die people, and that's all that matters to me. I know friendships and just like relationships in general are something that we all struggle so much with. So there are plenty more conversations that we will have in the near future about friends, being betrayed, poor relationships, anything along those lines, because the community that you surround yourself with is so important. And I have so much to say on this because, again, I've been burned a lot. I've learned a lot of lessons over the years, but the best is yet to come, and I feel very confident that we can navigate this together. Until next time, be loud, be proud, and be shameless.
Visit us at anskinbeauty.com to shop all of our medical grade skincare.